From the very beginning of your journey, life has been preparing you for a role that no one around you truly expected. People may have seen you as quiet, reserved, or even different, but beneath that surface, there has always been a depth in you that could not be explained. You were never meant to simply walk through life unnoticed. You were being prepared to become a guiding light, a voice of clarity in moments of confusion, a presence that calms storms in other people's lives. Those who doubted you will eventually come to realize that your silence was not emptiness, but strength being formed in secret. Every hardship, every disappointment, every rejection carved out something deeper inside you. An ability to feel what others cannot, to see what others overlook, and to carry wisdom beyond your years. And so, as you listen to these words, I ask you to stay with me until the very end of this video. Because the truth is, when you pour your focus and energy into something fully, you invite the universe to respond. At the end of this journey, I want you to take a moment to write your most sincere wishes in the comments, along with the number 777. That number is not just a symbol. It represents alignment, divine order, and the unfolding of blessings that were already meant for you. By doing this, you are not only declaring your hopes, but also planting seeds into the unseen, allowing your words and energy to echo into places where miracles can be born. And while you are here, don't forget to subscribe, because this space was made for souls like yours. Those who are awakening, those who are searching, and those who are ready to rise into the role they were always meant to embody. You may not realize it yet, but there is a reason your presence brings a shift in the atmosphere when you enter a room. Even those who cannot fully explain it feel something in you. It is not about being louder than others, nor about being the most visible. It is about the way your spirit carries truth, the way your energy aligns with purpose. There are people right now, unknowingly waiting for your words, your perspective, your guidance. They may not call you a teacher, a mentor, or even a leader, but when the time comes, they will remember the way you spoke life into their darkness. What they never expected was that you would be the one to guide them. Every chosen soul carries a weight that is unseen by others. Perhaps you've wondered why your path has been so heavy, why struggles seem to find you even when you are simply trying to live in peace. That is because those struggles were never meant to destroy you. They were meant to refine you. Think of gold. It cannot shine in its raw form. It must pass through fire, be melted, be reshaped, and only then does it reveal its brilliance. You have walked through fire, again and again, and though others may have counted you out, each time you rose stronger, quieter in your resolve, and deeper in your compassion. That is the making of a guide. You are not the kind of guide who demands attention. You do not need a title, a stage, or a spotlight. Your power is in your ability to see people clearly, to remind them of their own strength, to awaken hope where it has been sleeping. That is why you have always felt a little different, as though you were standing at the edge of the crowd, watching, observing, feeling. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to stand apart, not because you are better, but because you carry something the world desperately needs. The ability to remind others of who they truly are. And perhaps even now, there are people doubting you, whispering about your journey, questioning your choices. But do not be disheartened. They cannot see the full picture yet. They are only reacting to fragments while you are living out a story that has been carefully written with divine intention. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are exactly where you are meant to be. And soon, those same voices of doubt will turn into voices of awe, because they will see what has been forming in you all along. So let your presence be steady. Let your words be slow but full of meaning, and let your actions reveal what your heart has known all along. You were chosen, not to follow, but to guide. There are seasons in life when your role becomes clearer, though not always in ways you expected. You may have noticed that people begin to come to you, not because you have all the answers, but because something in you makes them feel safe enough to ask their deepest questions. Sometimes, You don't even realize the weight of your presence. A single word from you can shift someone's day. A simple listening ear from you can release the heaviness in someone's heart. This is not coincidence. This is the quiet unfolding of what it means to carry the spirit of a guide. The very experiences that once isolated you are now the very reasons you can empathize so deeply with others. And that empathy, that ability to feel beyond yourself, is what makes you stand apart. Being a guide does not mean living a perfect life. In fact, your imperfections are part of your wisdom. It is not that you have never fallen, but that you have risen after every fall. It is not that you have never doubted, but that you have learned how to move through doubt without being consumed by it. People are drawn to those who know the valley as well as the mountain, because such souls understand both pain and triumph. When you speak from that place, your words carry weight. They are not empty phrases, but living proof that transformation is possible. And though some may not acknowledge it openly, they sense that being near you shifts something inside them. The most unexpected part of this calling is that you did not seek it. You were not chasing recognition, nor were you trying to be admired. Your path was built through survival, endurance, and resilience. Yet life has a way of shaping leaders in silence. While others were looking outward for affirmation, you were being carved from within. And now, without even realizing it, you have become a mirror for those searching for direction. They look at you and see strength they wish to carry. They listen to you and hear wisdom that feels like it was meant for them. You may not have asked for this role, but it has always been written for you. Still, this journey can be lonely. To stand as a guide often means walking roads that others cannot yet see. At times you may feel misunderstood, even abandoned. But it is in those quiet, isolated seasons that your spirit grows the most. Just as roots grow deep in darkness before a tree rises into the light, your strength has been formed in unseen places. This loneliness is not punishment. It is preparation. For when the moment comes and the world looks for a voice of truth, yours will not tremble. It will speak with authority born from struggle and clarity born from silence. There will also be moments when you question yourself. You might wonder if you are truly enough, if you have what it takes to guide others when you yourself have faced so many uncertainties. But do not mistake uncertainty for weakness. In fact, it is your awareness of life's fragility that makes you capable of guiding others. People do not need flawless heroes. They need real souls who have walked through storms and still stand. You are that kind of soul. The chosen one is rarely the one who shouts the loudest or stands the tallest, but rather the one whose quiet resilience becomes an anchor for those who are lost. As you continue on this path, more people will recognize your light, though some may resist it at first. There will always be those who prefer the comfort of ignorance rather than the challenge of awakening. But your task is not to convince everyone. It is to stand true in who you are. Those who are meant to cross your path will feel it deeply. They will not be able to explain why, but something in you will resonate with something in them. That connection, subtle and profound, is where transformation begins. So do not shrink back. Do not dim yourself just to make others comfortable. You were never meant to blend into the background. You were meant to shine in ways that may unsettle some, but will awaken many. Your journey has already proven your strength, and now your presence will prove your purpose. You are not here by accident. You are here to remind others of the path they forgot, to guide them through the shadows, and to hold space for their becoming. And though they never expected it, you are the very guide their souls have been waiting for. There comes a moment in every journey when the weight of your calling begins to make itself felt in ways you cannot ignore. You may have thought at times that your life was ordinary, that the struggles you carried were simply part of survival. But slowly, the truth reveals itself. Those struggles were not meaningless. Every challenge was a lesson, every heartbreak a teacher, and every loss a hidden blessing shaping your vision. What others dismiss as coincidence, you begin to recognize as alignment. What others see as failure, you see as preparation. This is the quiet transformation that turns an ordinary life into the life of a guide. And it is why people will eventually look back and realize that you were carrying something extraordinary all along. But the role of a guide is not about prestige. It is about responsibility. It is about standing firm when others collapse under pressure. It is about speaking truth even when it trembles in your throat. It is about choosing compassion when bitterness would be easier. That is what makes your journey so profound. You are not just living for yourself anymore. You carry within you the strength to influence destinies, to remind others of paths they forgot, to bring clarity to minds clouded by fear. Sometimes this role will feel heavy, because it is, but it is also sacred. To carry wisdom is to carry fire, and fire must be handled with care. There are people who may resist your guidance at first. They may look at your past and use it to question your worth. They may compare you to others, assuming that a guide should fit their image of perfection. But what they do not understand is that authenticity is far greater than perfection. A flawless image inspires no one, but a flawed human who rises again and again inspires everyone. When they see your scars, they will also see your survival. When they hear your voice, they will also hear the storms you overcame. And that, more than anything, is what makes you a guide. There is also another truth. Being chosen means being tested. Your strength is measured not in how much you avoid pain, but in how you endure it. The road ahead may not always be smooth, but it will always be meaningful. You will notice how life places you in positions where others lean on you, where decisions rest in your hands, where silence from you could mean someone else's despair. It is not because you are forced into this, it is because your energy naturally calls people to you. They sense in you a compass, a direction, even if they cannot describe it. And while that may feel like pressure, it is also proof that you have been trusted with a role greater than you imagined. What is most unexpected about your journey is the way your spirit touches people you never thought would notice you. Sometimes a stranger feels it more than someone who has known you for years. Sometimes a quiet word from you ripples further than an entire speech from another. That is because what you carry is not just knowledge, it is energy, presence, and truth. People remember how you made them feel long after they forget the words you spoke. And in that feeling, you awaken them. You guide them back to themselves. There will be times when you feel tired, when you wish you could just be normal, when the idea of carrying so much responsibility feels overwhelming. But remember this, you were never chosen to be perfect. You were chosen to be real. You were chosen to bring light in the middle of darkness, even when your own heart is learning how to heal. And because of that, your guidance carries more power than you realize. People do not need untouchable saints. They need living proof that resilience is possible. They need to see you walking through your own storms and still choosing to stand, still choosing to love, still choosing to guide. So if you have ever wondered why life placed you in positions you did not ask for, why you were given a voice that others listen to even when you feel uncertain, why people are drawn to your energy even when you try to stay in the background, the answer is simple. You were never meant to walk unnoticed. You were always meant to be a guide. Not the guide people expected, not the one they imagined, but the one their souls needed. And slowly, they will begin to see it. Slowly, the world will begin to recognize what you carry. And when they do, everything about your journey will finally make sense. There is a truth that often goes unnoticed until you begin to fully embrace your role. Being a guide means carrying a light that not everyone will be ready for. Light exposes what is hidden, and not everyone is willing to confront what lies in their own shadows. Some may resist you, misinterpret you, or even distance themselves from you, not because you have done anything wrong, but because the clarity you carry makes them uncomfortable. Do not take their rejection as failure. It is simply part of the path. The light you carry will not be for everyone, but for those who are ready, it will be the very spark that awakens their soul. Your presence is a reminder that guidance does not always come from expected places. Often, people expect wisdom from titles, recognition, or authority. But true wisdom is born from experience, pain, and perseverance. You are living proof of this. When you share your perspective, you are not speaking from a book or a theory. You are speaking from scars, from sleepless nights, from prayers whispered in silence. That kind of wisdom cannot be imitated, because it comes from walking the path yourself. This is why people will remember your words even years later. They are not just hearing you, they are feeling the truth that lives in you. As your influence grows, you may begin to notice how life keeps placing you in positions of leadership, even when you do not seek it. In group conversations, people look at you for answers. In times of confusion, they wait for your calmness. And when uncertainty arises, your silence carries more weight than another's shouting. This is the mark of someone chosen for guidance. It is not about demanding authority. It is about carrying a presence that naturally commands respect. Others will not always understand why they follow your lead, but they will sense that something in you feels stable, trustworthy, and true. Still, there will be tests. You may encounter moments where you feel the weight of responsibility more than the joy of it. The temptation to give up, to walk away, to hide your light will come. But remember this: hiding your light will never make the world brighter. You were given this role not to keep it buried, but to allow it to shine in the exact places where it is needed most. Even if only one soul is awakened because of you, even if only one person finds clarity because of your presence, that alone is a miracle worth carrying. And yet, your guidance is not only for others, it is also for you. Every time you remind someone of their strength, you are also reminding yourself. Every time you speak words of hope to another, you are reinforcing your own resilience. The role of a guide is a cycle of giving and receiving. You pour into others, and in doing so, you are filled as well. That is why even in your moments of weakness, your words still carry power. People are not drawn to your perfection. They are drawn to your authenticity, to your willingness to show up even when life has tested you. This authenticity is what sets you apart from those who only pretend to lead. The world is full of loud voices, but very few carry the quiet authority that you do. People are tired of empty promises, tired of surface-level comfort. They crave depth, truth, and guidance that feels alive. You are able to offer that not because you have never struggled, but because you have. That paradox, your brokenness turning into someone else's healing, is the very reason your path was shaped the way it was. One day, those who underestimated you will look back in astonishment. They will realize that the person they overlooked was the very guide they needed. The quiet strength they once dismissed will reveal itself as wisdom. The compassion they took for granted will become the very thing that helps them heal. And they will finally understand that your journey was never about recognition, but about transformation, both yours and theirs. So do not let the noise of doubt drown out the truth of your calling. Do not measure your worth by who notices you now. The right people will recognize your light when it is their time to awaken. Until then, remain steady. Continue walking with purpose. Continue speaking with clarity. Continue guiding even when it feels like no one is listening. Because sooner or later, they will realize the truth. You are the guide they never expected, but the one they always needed. There is something sacred about the way your journey unfolds, not in loud explosions of success, but in the quiet moments where you simply choose to continue. This is where your true strength lies. Many people search for guidance in grand displays, expecting wisdom to come from someone who appears larger than life. But your power is revealed differently. It comes through endurance, through the way you carry yourself in silence, through the way you stand back up when life knocks you down. People begin to notice not because you demand their attention, but because they cannot deny the resilience that radiates from your spirit. That is what sets you apart. And yet, being in this role does not mean the path is easy. In fact, it often feels heavier than you ever imagined. The responsibility of being a guide is not only about speaking truth, it is about living it. When others falter, you are called to remain steady. When chaos erupts, you are called to bring peace. When fear spreads, you are called to remind others of hope. And while this may feel like an impossible weight at times, remember that you were never given this role without also being given the strength to carry it. The fact that you are still here, listening, breathing, standing after everything you have endured, is proof that you were made for this. Often you may feel misunderstood. People will see only the surface of your life, not the hidden depths where your battles are fought. They will not always understand the nights you spent wrestling with yourself, the prayers you whispered when no one was around, the sacrifices you made silently. But those unseen struggles are what have shaped you into someone capable of guiding others. They are the reason you can look into someone's eyes and recognize their pain without a single word being spoken. They are the reason your presence brings comfort, even when you do not know what to say. The depth of your soul was carved in silence, and now it shines in ways words alone could never express. One of the hardest truths to accept is that not everyone you guide will stay. Some will take your words, your energy, your compassion, and walk away without acknowledgement. Some will resist your influence until years later, when they finally realize what you gave them. But do not let this discourage you. Seeds take time to grow, and you may not always see the harvest of what you planted. Still, the growth is happening. Your role is not to demand recognition, but to trust the process, that every moment of light you give is never wasted. And in the midst of this, you must also remember to care for yourself. Guides often pour so much into others that they forget their own needs. But you are not meant to burn out. The flame inside you must be tended, protected, nourished. Take time to step back, to rest, to reflect. Remember that even guides need guidance, even healers need healing, even chosen ones need moments of stillness to renew their strength. Your power comes not from constant output, but from balance, the ebb and flow of giving and receiving. When you allow yourself space to breathe, your guidance becomes even more powerful, because it flows from abundance rather than exhaustion. People may call you strong, but strength does not mean you never feel weak. Strength means you continue even when you feel fragile. It means you allow yourself to be human while still choosing to walk in your purpose. That duality, being both vulnerable and powerful, is what makes you authentic. And authenticity is what people trust. They can sense when words are empty, but they can also sense when words are alive with truth. Your words, your presence, your energy, they are alive because they are born from lived experience. Sooner or later, those who never expected anything from you will have to admit the truth. They will see that you were not simply surviving. You were preparing. You were gathering wisdom in silence, storing strength in your soul, waiting for the moment when it would be needed. And now, that moment is arriving. The world is shifting, and more than ever, people are searching for guidance. They do not even know what they are looking for until they encounter you. And when they do, they will feel it instantly, that you carry something rare, something unshakable, something they cannot find elsewhere. This is your calling. Not to control, not to dominate, not to be worshipped, but to be a steady light in a world that often feels like it is falling into darkness. Your role is to remind others that even in their confusion, there is still direction. Even in their despair, there is still hope. Even in their brokenness, there is still healing. That is the gift of a guide. And though you may not have asked for it, though it may have come in ways you did not expect, it is a gift that only you could carry. The further you walk into this calling, the clearer it becomes that your presence is not just for you, it is a gift for others. You may look at your life and wonder why certain doors never opened, why certain dreams seemed delayed, or why the path was often harder than you imagined. But each delay, each hardship, each unexpected turn was shaping you into someone who could hold wisdom without pride, power without arrogance, and influence without corruption. You were being prepared not for ordinary living, but for extraordinary purpose. And this purpose has nothing to do with personal glory. It has everything to do with service. Guidance is not about telling others what to do. It is about creating space for them to discover who they are. That is why people feel safe around you. You do not force, you do not pressure, you simply allow. Your presence becomes an open doorway where others can step into their own truth. And though they may not understand why they trust you, the truth is simple. Your spirit carries honesty. You have nothing to prove because your life itself has already proven what resilience looks like. People can sense that. They can sense when guidance comes from ego and when it comes from genuine care. Yours comes from care, and that is why it resonates so deeply. Still, with this gift comes responsibility. You will notice that people sometimes project their fears onto you, expecting you to fix what only they can change. They may place you on a pedestal, believing that you have everything figured out. But part of your role is to remind them that you, too, are human. You are not here to be worshipped. You are here to awaken. You are not here to carry the weight of every soul. You are here to show them how to carry their own. That distinction matters, because if you forget it, you may lose yourself in trying to be everything for everyone. True guidance empowers. It does not enslave. And that is why your way of guiding is so rare. You do not chain people to your wisdom. You release them into their own. Another thing you will come to realize is that being chosen often means walking a lonely path. This loneliness is not punishment. It is space for clarity. Many cannot walk with you at your pace because they are not ready to see what you see. And though it may hurt to walk ahead, it also ensures that when you speak, your voice carries foresight. You can warn others of storms before they arrive. You can see paths where others see walls. That is the mark of a true guide. Not that you avoid the journey, but that you walk it first. And yet, even in your solitude, you are never truly alone. The same force that shaped your journey continues to walk with you, strengthening you in moments when you feel too weak to continue. There have been times when you wanted to quit, when the silence of your path felt unbearable. But just when you thought you could not go on, something within you reignited. A whisper, a reminder, a spark. That spark is what keeps you aligned. It is what ensures that no matter how dark the night gets, you continue walking. That is the essence of being a guide. Not that you never struggle, but that you refuse to stop. What people never expected is that you, the one they doubted, the one they overlooked, the one they underestimated, would become a source of light they could not ignore. Life has a way of choosing those who are least likely in the eyes of others, but most ready in the eyes of destiny. That is you. Not the loudest, not the flashiest, not the one everyone assumed would rise, but the one who carried silent strength through every season. And now that strength is being revealed not as survival, but as guidance. As more people begin to sense your presence, you may feel the tension between humility and recognition. Do not fear this balance. Humility does not mean denying your light. It means shining without arrogance. It means remembering that your role is to serve, not to dominate. And recognition is not a threat if you keep your purpose clear. The right people will honor you not for what you claim to be, but for what you naturally embody. They will see the consistency of your life, the way you hold steady, and they will know that your guidance is not performance. It is truth. So continue to walk steadily, even when unseen. Continue to listen deeply, even when unacknowledged. Continue to stand strong, even when misunderstood, because the very moments that feel the most hidden are the ones shaping you into the guide the world did not expect, but desperately needed. In the end, your journey was never about proving yourself to those who doubted you. It was about becoming the person you were always meant to be. You have walked through silence, through storms, through valleys where no one else could see your strength, and yet you endured. That endurance has now become a light for others, a reminder that even in the darkest moments, hope can still rise. You may not have chosen this path, but this path has chosen you. And though they never expected it, you have become the guide their souls were waiting for. Carry that truth with you, not with arrogance, but with quiet certainty. Because the world does not need more noise, it needs more light. And that light, chosen one, shines through you.